streaming on Instagram. You could be watching this on YouTube, listening on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Podomatic, or maybe you went to mymmanews.com and you're watching this. Well, I got a huge treat for you guys today. We got James McSweeney joining us any second. He's going to be popping up either down here or up here in literally a second. He has an upcoming fight May 23rd. If you guys don't know who James McSweeney is and you're new to MMA, well, he is literally a pioneer when it comes to the Ultimate Fighter, when it comes to amazing heavyweights, including Roy Nelson he's fought Matt Mitrione. James McSweeney, what's going on, boss?
Yeah, I'm cool, man. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for joining me here today. You're in Thailand again.
Yeah, I live here. I live here full time now. I've been living back here for the last 6 months. So I was here for like 2.5, 3 years before, and then I moved to Australia for a year, and then I just come back to Thailand 6 months ago.
So James, me and you are no stranger to one another. We've talked multiple times. We really almost talk like every week, whether it's through Instagram or whatever. So I was looking forward to your upcoming fight. What happened? Your opponent got injured in this kickboxing fight?
Well, I was meant to fight a Muay Thai fight because, of course, back in January I fought K1 again, and then I was offered the fight for Phoenix, the new promotion that are doing a lot of MMA, Muay Thai, and so they're a company in Bahrain, and they've been traveling all over the world putting on a lot of shows. And there was a Muay Thai event in Phuket, so they contacted me and asked me to fight for the Phoenix and the WBC world title here in Phuket. So it was perfect timing because I just opened my new gym in the same town in Patong, and the weekend would have been this weekend just gone, but unfortunately my opponent hurt his shoulder. And so they were saying, listen, he has to go to the hospital to see if he's going to need a surgery or how bad it is and blah, 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 blah. And we'll get back to you. So they got back to me, and I just found out today that we're going to fight end of May in Lumpinee Stadium, the new one, for the Phoenix. And it looks like for WBC World Muay Thai title as well. So I've been chasing this title for many years because, of course, I started in Muay Thai before I did anything. And I hold other Muay Thai titles. And getting the WBC would unify all my belts to pretty much put me to #1 Muay Thai fighter in the world. So I've not been fighting Muay Thai for a long time. So it'd be great to go back and just for the sake of my old passion, you know?
You know, I really congratulate you on that. And for anybody that's not familiar with you, James, I mean, let's reminisce really quick about, you fought some of the best heavyweights in the world. You've had fights with Roy Nelson, Matt Mitrione, going all the way back to Ultimate Fighter. You trained alongside Rashad Evans, helping him get ready for his fight against Forrest Griffin. It's been a really exciting journey watching you. You're saying that it's going to be unified. The belt is going to be in a new stadium. So is this something that it's going to be going down May 23rd? Is this something that really tops everything else? Because it really is like an exciting experience.
It's really hard because I get a lot of people ask me like, "Oh, what's your best knockout?" or "What's the greatest thing you ever did in the sport?" And to be honest, it's just very hard to say. It's just for me personally, it's more for it was my first passion. It was the first thing I ever started. I started Thai boxing when I was 5 years old, and I had my first fight when I was 12. And I started I was a complete Muay Thai fighter for many, many years before I did anything. So for me, it was just I went from Muay Thai and I got, different belts in that. And then, of course, the money was very minimal. And I was getting to an age where I had to start making a career. And then K1 came, and K1 was really booming and making a lot of money in the 90s, the late 90s and the early 2000s. So I went down that road. And then when that came to an end, MMA was kicking off. So that was like the next stepping stone for me. So it all has similarities. But yes, for me, this is like, I don't know, just an opportunity to go back to my roots and enjoy it, like I did in K1 in January. Like, it was a chance to go back to my roots. I still love MMA, and I'm going to be fighting MMA as well in the next couple of months. So I've got some MMA fights lined up. We can't announce them just yet. I've got a very, very busy schedule. And one of my friends just joined up there, Moise Ribbon. He's a cool guy. So he's one of my friends. He used to train me here in Thailand, and he's over in Dubai. The guy's an absolute monster. But yeah, all joking aside, yeah, it's just saying for me to go back and enjoy and have fun, enjoy the fights. The opponent I'm fighting against, he's a tough kid, but he's not of the level. I know where he's at. He's only young, and it's just a chance for me to go back and make a nice knockout.
So listen, I mean, I was asking you about all the moments that you've had. I mean, there are literally so many moments that you've had in your life that we've got to witness. Like, you know, even being the first pick on the Ultimate Fighter, it's just everything, man. You've had such a great story, but really, all these people that you fought are still like in Bellator and stuff like that. Me and you kind of spoke about, you know, you have history with these, with Roy Nelson, Matt Mitrione. Is that still something on your mind, Bellator 200 down the road, or, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to reach out to them, and of course, to be honest, it's been, I don't know, I've got connections with my circle of people pretty much all over the world, from Asia to all over the world. I don't know, I've tried to reach out to everybody and say, like, no, I'll speak to them and I'll get back to you or whatever, but no one's ever got back to me. I've been trying to get out of Bellator for a long time. There's a lot of opponents there that I think that we can make great fights, as we discussed before. You know, Frank Mir and Fedor fight. To be honest, I knew Fedor would win that fight in my heart. I have some, you know, me and Frank have a lot of history, and unfortunately, it's turned to bad blood now. We're no longer friends. But you know, it's just I knew that fight was going to go the way it goes. But on that regard, in that tournament, there's huge opportunities in that tournament. Huge opportunities for me. On any given day, I could fight and win any one of those fights.
You said that you thought Fedor was going to win in that fight. You thought it was going to be going down that quick, 90 seconds or whatever it was?
To be honest, I didn't think it'd be 90 seconds. I think no one could ever, you know, if that's with guys that of that level, you never really know how long it was going to go. But I can tell now, the deeper it was going to go in water, the worse it was going to be for Frank. That's for sure. I mean, he never has a gas tank. Without going too personal, just keeping it on a business and professional level, the guy has a very weak work ethic and doesn't train hard. You know, he uses every supplement he can find and put his hands on. But that does not make condition, and it doesn't help, you know, put things together. And unfortunately, I don't think he's hungry to fight. I just think he's just go there for a paycheck because I know financially he's in trouble.
You know, do you think Fedor has a shot at winning this entire Grand Prix tournament?
Yeah, I hope so, and I think he deserves it. I mean, listen, everyone's given Fedor, like, it's so funny how the MMA community turns on people so quick. Like, for so many years, Fedor was the greatest of all time, and, you know, 30 fights, undefeated and all that. And then, you know, the guy, to be honest, went through Pride. Now, Pride killed a lot of people's careers. You know, it took a lot out of Rampage. Rampage has never fought the same in the UFC as he ever did in Pride. Wanderlei exactly the same. You know, Pride was a very, Crow Cop was exactly the same. There's a lot of tough guys that Pride absolutely took their youth. You know what I mean? Them guys are fighting out of their weight classes. They were fighting so often. Everyone always puts it down to like, oh, well, in Pride they weren't drug testing and this and that and all the rest of it. But the fact of the matter is, them guys had absolute wars with so many big, huge guys with a rule set that's very toxic on the body, extremely toxic. And, you know, and to be honest, I think with Fedor, when I saw him fight Maldonado, now I had a 3-round war with Maldonado, and I hit that guy with everything. I hit him with everything in the kitchen sink. That guy broke 2 of my ribs. Like, you know, that guy's an absolute monster. And he can take a beating like no other. I saw him rock Fedor like no one's ever rocked Fedor, and Fedor bit down his mouthpiece, straightened himself up, and fought back like he was 20 years old. Yeah. So, to be honest, I saw a different character in Fedor then as well. I mean, when he fought Matt Mitrione, yeah, I think like if Fedor just... It was so 50-50 and like luck of anybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, listen, hats off to Matt. He won the fight. Let's not discredit anybody for the victory. But you know, if they fought 100 times, that probably would never happen again. You know, Fedor would probably just take him down and submit him real quick, like everyone else done in the past. You know what I mean? We know Matt Mitrione's a one-trick pony, that's for sure. So at the end of the day, it is what it is, you know, and that's just the luck of the fight. And that's the luck of the fight. That's the luck how it goes sometimes. And now in this tournament, no one would have put Matt Mitrione to beat Roy Nelson. No one. Because Roy Nelson's
I was ringside for that fight,
yes.
As you know, and you know, it was a weird fight, man. It was a weird fight the way that the judges scored it, but all in all, Matt Mitrione advancing in this one. But you've had history with Matt Mitrione. Did you do you think that he has a chance once he fights Fedor again? You don't think he's going to be able to get past him if that does happen again?
I think if they fight again, I think it's going to be a much tougher fight for Matt. I'm not saying Matt can't win because Matt is a very athletic guy. But unfortunately for Matt, he just actually doesn't have the I don't think he has the skill set that Fedor would have, you know, if it comes to an all-round fight over 3 rounds. You know, if he stays on its feet, Matt Mitrione, I think, has got a puncher's chance, and I think he has a better chin than Fedor now, unfortunately. I don't think Fedor's chin is what it used to be. We've seen him get rocked. Dan Henderson rocked him and knocked him out. You know, Maldonado rocked him badly. We've seen a few people now knock him out, and I think that's... I mean, when he fought Bigfoot, I mean, that Bigfoot fight was just absolutely pounding him. And I think it just took a lot out of him, you know what I mean? And I don't blame him. It's not his fault. The guy's had absolute wars. When we saw him fight Nogueira, when we saw him fight Crocop, they had wars back in them days. So, you know, and it's the only thing that surprised me about the fight was that even Mir even landed a shot on him. But he did. He landed a very simple inside low kick and straight left hand. And I think everyone's seen that, of course, Matt Mitrione's a left-hander too. Crocop was a left-hander. Fedor's always had a problem with southpaw guys. So I just think his chin was much better before than it is today. But we'll see. I think Fedor's a smart guy. I don't think he'll stand toe-to-toe with him again.
Last question about this whole Bellator thing. In Fedor. Next, you have Sonnen, who's naturally a middleweight, but he's fought, you know, he looked pretty decent against Rampage, I guess. So how do you think he stands against Fedor? Because to me, it just doesn't seem real.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you'd have said 5 years ago or 10 years ago this fight was going to happen, you'd laugh, right? But the fact is, it's happening, and I think that Chow is a ground guy, and I don't think his ground game is as good as Fedor's, if I'm honest. And if Chow wants to pull guard on Fedor, it's a bad night. I really believe it's a bad night on him on his back, because Fedor's ground and pound is probably the best in the business I've ever seen. I don't think he's going to lose that. And I think his submissions are better too.
We have a comment here. Somebody saying, BFL Superfan saying, it'll be much tougher for both. I believe Matt for the reasons just mentioned, but he'll lose, but it'll be a harder fight this time because those Fedor butterflies will be gone and he wants revenge. You know, that's the thing I brought up when I was talking to him, you know, building confidence, something like that. I mean, a win over Fedor's got to build confidence for anybody.
Oh, for sure. And almost because, like, Fedor's got this aura about him that, like, you know, that it was like the Mike Tyson syndrome for so long, right? It was funny because once, I mean, when he got submitted, and I'm really sorry, but I forget the guy's name, the Brazilian that submitted him, he got him in a triangle, right? Remember? The Brazilian that submitted him? Strike Force. What's his name?
I can't
remember. He's in UFC now. Yeah, he submitted him first. He was the first person to submit him. I forget, but once he submitted him, but it was almost like he was getting the crap beaten out of him, and then he got submitted by a triangle. It was the first time he kind of lost. And then when Dan Henderson knocked him out,
Verdum, you're talking about
Verdum, that's it, Verdum. When Dan Henderson actually knocked him out, everyone was like, oh, like, wow, it can happen, it can be done. And then of course Bigfoot beat the piss out of him. So now it's kind of burst that bubble, right? So now with Matt Mitrione, Matt is a bit of a mental midget in his mind. Like, he piles off that he's very strong, but he's not. He's a very insecure guy, very insecure. And I knew it doesn't matter how that will never change. That's just in his DNA. You know, you can always know that about the guy. But that victory would have helped him a lot. But I still don't know if he's, because of the way it happened, Fedor has been tried and tested, and there's no problem with that guy's mental strength, I can tell you. So I don't think there'd be any issues with that.
People in the comments are saying that you would smash Fedor. How do you think a fight between you and Fedor would go down?
Do you know what? I would love it just because of the personal test. And I've always been a super fan of Fedor for many years. And of course, I have self-belief. You know, I always believe I'm on a day where I perform the best. I believe I can beat anyone in the world. I really do believe that. And that's not just trying to be a brag. And I'd put that to the test. And I've asked for the test. I've lost fights and I've won fights. And that's just the game. There's been reasons why I've lost and there's been reasons why I won. You know, and I know them personally, but it is what it is technically, and my experience now in the game and knowing MMA the way I do, I believe that I could win that fight, and I would win that fight. Would I win it 10 years ago when Fedor was at his best and I was learning MMA? I don't think so. I didn't even have a belt in jiu-jitsu back then, you know. So for me, I was just a striker trying to pick up the game as I was going along. Back then, 10 years ago, Fedor was absolutely, killing everybody. But now, 10 years down the line, yeah, I do. I think I would walk through Matt Mitrione and Fedor.
Yeah, you were pretty much just learning when you came on The Ultimate Fighter that season. That first fight when you with Wes Shivers, it was basically a kickboxing fight. Like,
pretty much, he took me down. He tried to put me in an arm lock and that, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing on the floor. To be honest, I had no. It was just a personal, like, whatever I would do in the street. You know what I mean? Like trying to get out. I had no ground experience whatsoever. And when they asked me to go on the show, I was just like, yeah, okay, well, I haven't got to do a tryout, so you want me to go on this? Why not? This, you know, let's see what happens. And of course, when I got as far as I did, just off my natural kind of skills, then it was okay. Now I've got to start learning this game. And I tried my best as I could, but at the highest level like that, to try and pick up and learn a game and compete at the highest level is very difficult. So I paid the price, and you know, and of course now I dedicated my life to learning, and I've been fighting ever since.
Still, my favorite season of Ultimate Fighter. Man, there's just so many unforgettable moments from that season. I could watch it every other month. But you know, as we get towards the end of this interview, man, you got this upcoming fight, May 23rd. Have you been inside the stadium yet to check it out?
No, do you know what? Do you know, many years ago, it must be over 18 years ago, I fought at the old Lumpinee Stadium. So that was like how far I go back. So to go to the new stadium now and be the main event and get a chance to do it again is really going to be symbolic for me, and it'd be a great way to just put an extra, you know, feather in my cap. And then I've got a fight. Like I said, I've got a couple of fights coming up. I wish I could announce what's going on, but I'm trying to keep it under my hat because I don't know. It's kind of, yeah, but you know what? I'm not even going to post them. I'm just going to go and take the fights. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to post it at the end because you know something, like it's so funny nowadays. Like it's I've kind of took a bit of a step back from social media a little bit. My people still post and do my things, and I go on there and I look at what's going on in case of personal people I know. But it's just so funny now how everyone's so critical at everyone's decisions and what people make. And you know, it's like, God, it's my career, and if I want to fight, I'll fight. And you know, you're not going to win, you're not going to do this, you're going to do that. So how do you know? How do you know what I can and can't do? You know what I mean? Like, how do you know? But so I'm just not about that kind of bullshit right now, negativity, to be honest. I'm just focusing on training. I'm training really hard. I've kind of gone back to my old mentality of I was doing this shit before social media existed. So nowadays, these guys haven't trained until they posted a picture in the gym. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I was training today. Look, you know, social media didn't exist when I was playing. Yeah. Yeah, and they go in the gym for 5 minutes, take a picture, and they fuck off home. So someone's asking how old I am. I'm 37. I'm 38 this year. So, yeah, when I started, there weren't social media. Facebook didn't exist. Instagram didn't exist. I think internet was just kicking off when I was starting this. So you know, so yeah, that's you know, it wasn't about that. So to be honest, really, I think I've been over the few years at some point, you know, and I think a lot of fighters have got caught up in this bullshit of, you know, seeing who likes you and who doesn't, how many followers and who says this and who says that, and then letting it bother you. I'm past all that. I'm too old to have rubbish. I'm just gonna go out. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna enjoy it. Everyone's gonna see what I've had planned. I've got a movie coming up. I'm doing a movie in the end of May as well. I'm starring in another movie, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm going to do a movie in May. Yeah, it's an MMA movie, and I'm going to, without giving too much away, but I'm like the Dolph Lundgren character. So I'm the baddie. And, you know, there's a guy there, and of course he, you know, he's the good guy, and he's going through the MMA ranks. He's doing really well, and he falls off the wagon a little bit, and gets in trouble, and then all of a sudden he has his big comeback, and he has to fight me in the finale. And of course, I beat the piss out of him the whole way through the fight until the end. He pulls it off and beats me, you know. So yes, you know, so I've got to get beaten up by some little punk, but it's pretty cool. It's going to be a couple of weeks on set. I've got quite a lot of lines to do. So it's another little thing I've got in the pipe right now, which will be pretty cool. So the end of the month, the end of May. So I've got to go over to Malaysia, and we're going to film that. So I never thought I'd be coming to Asia and filming movies. That's for sure.
Is that new for you, acting?
I've done little parts here and there. Like I did a music video before for some rappers and on Def Jam Records. I've done small parts in movies when I was in America and commercials a little bit. But yeah, this is probably going to be one of the larger roles I've done. I've got a lot of speaking to do. So when they sent me the script, I was like, oh shit, like, oh no, I've actually got quite a lot to learn here. So I've been going through the script and the choreograph. I mean, there's a lot of choreography. We do got to do 5-round fight on tape, so it's a lot of choreography for the movie. So I've got to go there a week early, go into the gym, work with the fighters and the choreographers, and get it down and get my opinion on what looks real and what doesn't, and so forth. So try and make it look as realistic as possible without killing the guy. But yeah, it should be fun. So I'm excited about that as well. You know.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Are you bringing your little girl on set? Because
yeah, I'm gonna take my wife. I'm gonna take my wife and daughter. Me, you know, they go everywhere. Me, they're my life. So without them two, I wouldn't be able to breathe. I don't think so. I already put it into the contract. Hey guys, you got to fly my wife and daughter with me, and so for 2 weeks I wouldn't be able to go without them. So it'd be nice for them because they get to stay in the hotel, they get to be looked after, they get to come down the set and check it out. So as a learning curve for my daughter as well, it'd be a great experience for her, you know. So she gets to see behind the scenes, and of course, she understands, but she doesn't really know. Like even just now, she's like, "Daddy, can you tell me your line again?" And then of course I say it, and she just laughs at me like I'm an idiot, and just walks off. So
funny together. Like I watch like the stats. So I mean, it's just I love all that. You guys are cool.
Yeah, no, she's my best friend. So when I do a daddy-daughter date with her, I take her out for once a week, and I take her for dinner, or we go and do something together. And I try to treat her like, hopefully, so she knows one day when she goes on a date with a real guy, she knows how to be treated. So she gets dressed up, I go outside, I open the car door, I let her in, I buckle her in, and I pull the chair for her, I pay for the dinner, I ask her what she wants, I order for her, you know, so she knows when she's older what to expect from a real man, you know, so some little punk doesn't mistreat her when she's older. So I try to treat her that way. But of course, when we're doing it, we have a little bit of fun. And she wants to, hey, daddy, can we do face swap? Daddy, can we do fat face? Or daddy, you know, she's always want to do something. So it's always cool.
Keep you on your toes. We had a question here for you. In the movie, do you fight sledgehammer striking, or is it street fight?
No, it's going to be an MMA fight. So I'm going to apply as much sledgehammer striking as I can. So it'd be a great way to put my style into a movie so people can get to see my own personal style, you know, how I fight, and personalize it a little bit. So that would be great as well. So Yeah, no, it's not a street fight. It's going to be an MMA fight. I have to go to, there's a scene in the movie where I go to an underground bare knuckle fight as well. So I've got to go down there, and then I get brought in as a guest. It's going to be a pretty cool movie by the looks of it. The script is pretty good, and so I'm excited about it. So I think it'd be pretty good. So we're giving too much. You just guys got to watch it, right? I'll let you know when it's to be aired. I don't think it's going to be in the blockbuster movie. Let's put it that way. But it's an indie movie, so it should be fun.
Hey, I got a question, James. So, of course, I was just at Lion Fight 42 at Mohegan Sun, and the president and CEO, Scott Kent, he was telling me that they have scheduled an event in Paris. You know, they're going to Paris, but MMA is not legal in Paris right now.
No.
When do you think that's going to happen? Do you think that will ever happen?
Do you know what? To be honest, it's been illegal for so long, but there's so many gyms there. I've done seminars all over France at different gyms for MMA. So it's really crazy that the government is still holding back. It's going to take a power company like the UFC or Bellator or someone to go there and have their kind of finance. I mean, listen, money is what it's all about. Melbourne and Australia was the same, right? They're a cage ban. You couldn't fight there over cage. UFC went there and chucked God knows how many $1 million at the government, and they said, okay, you can have a cage now. So,
Yeah.
you know, money talk. You know, same as New York, right? Eventually, every other state was going to do it. New York held out for boxing and held out and held out and held out. But eventually, so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to put the money somewhere else then. And, of course, they're not going to like that.
The weird thing is, it was illegal here, but not for amateurs, only for pros.
I think it's going to take for Paris, it's going to take like, not that like Ireland was suffering or legal, but it's going to take like a French star to come through the UFC or a French star to burst on the scene. And then it's going to, UFC are then going to, because right now, to be honest, Paris and France is a small country, right? So it's a very small. I mean, if you want to watch it in France, you can come over to England on the Eurotunnel, 30 minutes, and you can come watch it in the O2 Arena in London. So it's not like it's that hard to go and watch. But if they had a French star who came through the ranks and was going to bring a whole country to the network, like Conor did with Ireland, or with, you know, other guys, even with, you know, a lot of guys did with England when it first happened, then yeah, maybe it would happen. You know, maybe it would happen. But it's going to take someone special, and it's going to take a company like that with a lot of financial backing to go there and be willing to throw a lot of money into the country to make it worth it. But with so many surrounding countries so close to France, I don't know if they have if it will be worth it for them, because of course, like, if they put it in England, they haven't got to lose that amount of money, and everyone can go on the Eurotunnel and cost €30 and be there in 30 minutes and be home that night, you know. So it's not the end of the world. So I just don't think it's been irrelevant for them to really get there, but hopefully one day it would. I don't think, to be honest, nowadays, 2018, I mean, geez, come on, guys, it's not like the 60s. I don't think it should be banned anywhere now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's been tested that it's a safe sport. It's not no longer an underground, you know, mentality. You got massive sponsors and companies that are mainstream marketing, sponsoring these companies. Under Armour and all these Gatorade and all this stuff. Like, geez, are you still that narrow-minded where you're listening to think it's such a bad thing to happen? I mean, come on. You know, there's worse things out there. I mean, France has been well known for so many years in kickboxing and French boxing and stuff like that. They should be opening up the doors.
I think it's silly. Agree with it needs to be a big star. Money definitely talks. So time will tell, and I'm sure that we're getting closer. James, before we let you go, we want to wish you best of skill for May 23rd at the Lumpinee Stadium, man. I can't wait for that. Where can people watch that? Is it going to be aired live?
NBC Live. It's going to be on NBC from what I hear. Yeah, I hear so. It's going to be on NBC. If it's not closer to the time I'm in, I'll jump on social media for 2 minutes and I'll post where you can all watch it. But for you, I'll send it to you anyway. But you'll all see it after if it's not on. But isn't it? It's for me. It's just I'm gonna walk in there, get my belts, knock this guy out, and come home. So it's gonna be an easy night for me. I can assure you. Right now, This is the best McSweeney you've ever gonna see. I can assure you. The year I took off, fixed my body and my mind. I've never felt as good and as strong as I do today. And all these fighters say that, no, but it's bullshit. But I absolutely. 100%. I feel like I'm 20 years old again. It's crazy. So I'm ready. Let's put it that way. It's going to be a fun night.
Looking forward to it, James. Thank you so much for joining me here on Pure Evil MMA. Once again, for MyMMAnews.com. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day.
Bruce, take care, my friend. Bye-bye, mate.
To Pure Evil MMA. Make sure you guys check James McSweeney out if you don't already know who he is. That's fine. You might be new to the sport. But anyway, guys, James McSweeney and I were talking about maybe doing a podcast together. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below, or let me know on Instagram or on Twitter on the other side over here at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. Man, I hate this Instagram app. It's constantly fucking up my streams with that crazy noise. I'm about to head up to the city, guys. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher. You can find all the Pure Evil MMA content at MyMMAnews.com. It's your day. Happy Tuesday. We have a lot planned this week. Next UFC event, let's see. Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington. We're going to be doing the breakdown, early preview for that show today. Also, Ultimate Fighter Season 27, Episode 3 going down tomorrow night. It's been a pretty exciting season so far with Jojo Giannotti on there. So maybe we can even get him on the show. I talked to that kid fucking daily, even years before he was on the Ultimate Fighter. So it's only a matter of time before we get another South Shore killer on the show. So guys, thank you so much for tuning. Subscribe down below. Enjoy your day. Last of all, white knuckles till the end. Behave yourselves.